spiritual journey is just random? Or what if there's a real structure to it? Well, today we're diving into this powerful idea from Scripture that there are 7 specific tests designed to prepare you for something the source calls a double portion inheritance, a much greater purpose and responsibility.
So, this whole journey kicks off with a massive shift in how we see ourselves. Just like the slide says, spiritual maturity moves beyond discipleship into sonship. Think of it like this. It's like going from being a student who just follows instructions to becoming a trusted heir, someone ready to take on real responsibility. That mindset right there is the launch pad for this entire process.
All right, so what in the world is this double portion inheritance we're talking about? Let's be clear, we're not talking about money or material wealth. The source defines it as a state of spiritual readiness, basically the capacity to handle greater responsibility and authority in God's kingdom. It's less of a reward and more like a promotion, a call to operate on a whole new level. But yeah, you don't just stumble into an inheritance of this magnitude. It's not just handed over. It actually requires a pretty profound refining process, and the source material lays out this preparation as a series of specific, character-shaping tests. And that's where this number comes in, 7. The whole path is built around 7 distinct spiritual tests, and each one is designed to shape your character and get you aligned with your ultimate calling. So let's dive into the first phase of this journey. The first 3 tests are all about building a solid inner foundation. You can't build a skyscraper on shaky ground, right? It needs a deep, strong foundation before it can even think about reaching for the sky. It's the exact same with our spiritual lives. It all starts on the inside. Okay, so these first 3 foundational pillars are, first, spiritual sensitivity, second, separation, and third, submission. Think of them as building blocks. Each one builds on the last, creating this solid bedrock for everything that's going to follow. First up, spiritual sensitivity. This is all about learning to hear the voice behind the voice. It's not just about the words you hear, but sensing the deeper meaning, the real intention behind an instruction. And the source makes it super clear. This isn't some mental puzzle you solve. It's a kind of discernment that only grows through intimacy and prayer. Next up, test 2, separation. And I love how the source puts this. It's about death to plan B. This slide lays out the choice perfectly. On one side, you've got plan A, just surrendering completely, diving in headfirst. That's the path to growth. But then there's plan B, holding onto your old safety nets, your old securities. That just divides your focus. This test is all about a choice. Are you all in, or are you keeping one foot out the door? Okay, so once you're all in on plan A, you hit test 3, submission. And this is all about trusting the process. It's about aligning yourself under God-given leadership. But here's the thing, it's not really a test of just following orders. It's about developing a spiritual rhythm, a sense of humility. As the source highlights, our biggest gifts are often sharpened and private in those hidden moments, way before they're ever ready for the spotlight. This one really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? I mean, what are those plan B mindsets we're all holding on to? Those safety nets that feel so secure, but could they actually be the very things holding us back from our real purpose? That's a huge question to ask ourselves. All right, so once that inner foundation is solid, the journey shifts gears. We move into the next stage, the path of pursuit. This is where all that internal work starts to show on the outside. It's about action. And this phase brings 2 really active tests, pursuit and loyalty. This is where that inner decision becomes an outward, visible dedication, a commitment to keep pressing forward no matter what. Test 4, pursuit, is about having a relentless spiritual focus. Just an intense hunger. The source points to the story of Elisha, who literally would not leave his mentor Elijah's side. He was just so desperate for his spiritual inheritance that nothing could pull him away. It really just comes down to this. How bad do you want it? And that kind of relentless pursuit, well, it needs protection. That's where test 5, loyalty, comes in. Think of it like a spiritual shield. It's the discipline of guarding your focus, your entire atmosphere. It means you're actively tuning out the noise, ignoring the temptation to compare yourself to others, and saying no to easier paths so you can stay laser-focused on your destiny. And let's be real, this is a massive challenge, right? We live in a world that is just screaming for our attention 24/7. So how do we actually do that? How do we protect our spiritual atmosphere and keep our eyes on the prize in the middle of all that? Okay, this brings us to the final stage of the journey, the real summit. And it's all about spiritual sight. This is where everything we've talked about comes together, shifting our focus to a whole new level of perception and ultimately activation.
And the last two tests, the ones that basically unlock the whole thing, are spiritual sight and alignment. These are the final keys to it all.
All right, test 6, spiritual sight. This one operates on a super important principle. You have to see the promise spiritually before you can ever hold it physically. The source really hammers this home. This kind of sight has nothing to do with what your natural eyes can see. It's all about revelation. It's about seeing with eyes of faith what God is doing behind the curtain.
And finally, we arrive at test 7, alignment. This is it. This is the last key in the lock that turns and activates everything. It's all about being in the right place at the right time with the right heart. And when you finally click into that alignment, that's when the spiritual authority flows. That's when the mantle, that unique purpose you were designed for, is finally released for everyone to see.
So you go through all 7 of these tests. They're tough, for sure, but they change you. So what's the end result? What does it actually mean to activate your inheritance? Well, the outcome of this whole journey is a complete transformation. It's not just one little thing, it's the whole package. Your character gets refined, like gold in a fire. Your spiritual authority grows. The inheritance that you were prepared for is finally released into your life. And ultimately, you're brought into this incredible, powerful alignment with God's purpose for you. So there you have it. The source material basically gives us a clear roadmap, a 7-step journey of preparation. The path is all laid out. And really, the only question left is the one we each have to answer for ourselves. Are we ready to take that first step?